Okay, so finally, let's figure out how you can make up a test and assign it to some of your students. So we're going to go over to QMax Management, and this is where you can access about 2,100 unsecured tests. And so what we're going to do is we're going to come over here, and we're going to see that I have been busy creating a lot of tests for different people, for students and for professors. And for instance, here's one that I do wish to reuse for this year. Your screen's not going to have anything unless you've been in the system busy like myself. I'm going to click on this test and I'm going to see what I've been up to. And you can see here's the title, this is when I started it, and this is when I made it due by. And I put it in a mode called tutor mode, which allows the students to get instant feedback on the answers that they're choosing and rationales and all sorts of outside resources. It's not timed. I highly recommend that you put everything in tutor mode if you want happy students. You can see results. I'm not going to click on that one because that's going to show student names, and we're not going to do that right now, but you can see how individual students are performing. In the analysis, you can see how your individual questions are performing. You can view your questions. You can preview your assessment right here. So let's go back to the settings again. You can share this with another faculty member if they're taking over your content and you want them to be able to look at it. All right, so let's back out for a second. What I want to do with this is that I want to see if I can clone this test that this review set that I had from 2024. All right, so I'm going to back out here and I'm going to find it. And so I'm on page 2, and here I come. I'm going to find my thread 1. Here we go, my review set. I want to use the same one this year, okay? So I'm going to come here and I'm going to copy that test. And I'm going to call this one, I'm going to copy it and I'm going to change everything here. I'm going to call it 2025, okay? This is the student review set for the end of the system. All right, I'm going to keep it in tutor mode right here. Boy, I can't type. Okay, I'm going to hit copy. And if I go up to page 1 now, you should see, here it is, okay? So I can click on that, and let's say that I want to remove questions. If I want to do that, I can go in and I could manage the questions and say, I don't want to do that this year. I don't want to do this year. So I can hit the delete button. If I want to add questions, let's say that I really want to hammer on tubulin. Okay, so let's go to tubulin inhibitors. Maybe I want to add a new question on tubulin inhibitors. Well, you can see after I search that I've got in the bank about 10 questions on tubulin. I'm going to focus on the QMax 1. Those are your step 1 questions. So I've got about 8 questions I can choose from that are right here. Okay, anything that has a check mark I've already used, and I've used it in this current test. If it says used in other tests, without a check mark, it's used in another test, not the current one. So I'm going to see that because I have so few questions, 8 of them, I've used a lot of them already. But maybe I want to talk about inhibitors, and I want to talk about cisplatin, or I want to talk about, something else used in another test. I can click on this and then I can scroll down and hit add. Okay, so let's say I want to add something about vincristine. I could click and add that. Okay, but I don't want to. I want to make sure that stays off of mine, so I'm removing it. P-values are basically a performance value as well as statistical value. So I'm looking to add things that are in like the 0.6 or higher range. Okay, those are pretty good performing questions. I probably wouldn't go for this one. Okay, so that's how you can add questions and change them. When you're done, ready to go, and you want to assign this to a cohort, you can come here and you have to say assign. Okay, so you can see right now I don't have any students or groups assigned to this test, so I can assign students or groups to this test. Now I would assign my users right up here. I'm not going to click this button because it's going to show student names because I've assigned things to individual students, okay? But what you'll see when you click that is going to be your rosters of the class of 2028, class of 2029. click on which class you want to assign the thing broadly to, or you can search for an individual student and assign something to an individual student. Okay? So you must assign a test if you're going to distribute it. So once you do an assignment, then you hit the publish button and that shoots it out to your students. Okay. Without that, it's just stuck in your queue. Again, I'm not going to show you that part because that's going to reveal student names and I want to keep that for privacy. Once you're ready to go with that, then your test is out there and you can keep coming back and check to see how many students have engaged with your test that you've been making up. So if we come back to test management and we see I can get analytics then about how students have been performing by clicking on things. And if something's been published and it's already, I can see the analytics of how it's been performing right here. Okay. So again, nothing is forwarded to your students until it is assigned and published. So if something's not published right here, it's a work in progress. All right, I hope that helps you. And then one other thing, if you really want to go for it, is you can do a question explorer right here and create pools as well. I'm really not going to go into that very much because you can do that within the context of test management, but you can search on things, like various topics that you want to learn something about, and you can create pools. So if you want to go and do a broad search and start clicking on questions, you can add them to pools so you have a pool to work off of. So that's another option for you if you have some time to burn and you want to start building your practice sets. Sometimes it's a good idea to start with a pool and then you can whittle that pool down or you can rotate questions between classes. All right, so that is it with the QMax management. And again, you're going to have 2,000 questions to choose from. And these are unsecured questions, by the way. So students have access to the same exact ones. These are not to be used in quizzes or tests, anything that's a secured examination. Okay, hope that helped you a lot. All right, bye.